What's up, world? It's Mr. McCossier. Cassier Clothing. Just got back from a little run and just wanted to come on here and just kind of put my thoughts out there and trying to figure out and make sense of, what transpired back in February 23rd of 2020 with the young man. And it's been bothering me since I found out about it. And, prayed for his family and dedicated some time to him. And growing up in New Orleans, I was always told to be careful and be safe. Just going through everyday life, growing up in the inner city. And, those of you who have had that experience, I understand what I'm talking about. But at the same token, you can die. Anything can happen to you in the blink of an eye. Your time is predestined. You never know. But at the same token, you want to have that, I guess, false sense of hope that hey, your kids will be all right, you'll be all right. And I understand my mother worry and concern, for her son. Because growing up in New Orleans, we were dying off at a rapid pace. What I did not know was that New Orleans was no different from any other city in America where the average black man, brown man was prejudged, and basically at any given point the question would always be raised is, is their life worth it? And even if they did things that was illegal or immoral, the measures taken to restrain or refrain them from doing those things were a bit excessive and sometimes cost them their lives. But being in the profession that I am in, my mother had always worried, and she has worried for almost 24 years now for my safety in the profession that I'm in. And, let me pause right there and just say, hey, this is me speaking for me. This is not a representation of my organization. It's just my personal opinion. And I do not speak for them or anybody else. I am speaking for myself. But what happened over the years is that my mother's worries never went down. She always worried whenever I was away from home. I would be on vacation, on leave or whatever, and I would go out to clubs or hang out at night back in New Orleans because it was my city. But the city had rapidly changed from when I was there, and she always worried. When I went to combat, when I deployed, she worried, because something could happen over there. Things did happen while I was there, 2 people. But by the grace of God, it didn't affect me or anybody really, really close to me. And I just, always shrugged it off. I just always shrugged it. Ma, I'll be all right. Ma, I'll be all right. Don't worry about it. And even when I became a father, I still had that mentality. It'll be all right. Obviously, I was more cautious and well aware of where I went for the sake of my children. And, but as a father, you always have those worries about your kids, and I have 4, right? And my oldest, I got boys, my oldest son, my stepson, is getting ready to turn 21. And he goes to college, and I see the fear in his mother's eyes whenever he leaves the house, every time. And even just the thought of him being away concerns her. And, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a mother. Expect mothers to be that way, right? And then when the news came out about this young man, I was expecting a phone call from my mother because I run. Like I said, I literally just came back from running, and got salt all in my face. I came back from running, but when this news that broke out, I actually got a phone call from my wife, well, a text message rather. A text message said, "Please do not run outside of the neighborhood. Please do not run outside the neighborhood." It bothered me that my wife, who really never, at least not openly, worried about me at all, about as far as how I worked out, and things I've done, places I've been. She never really openly worried for me, but for her to say that to me kind of struck me. And of course, obviously, yes, I did talk to my mother, and same things came out of her mouth too. What kind of world we live in where I, as a man, have to be concerned about my cardio? And what I mean by that is those people who run, those avid runners that run more than me, one of the things you always check to make sure you have something reflective on, that don't have your music too loud so you can hear your surroundings somewhat. Make sure that you run against traffic so you can see what's coming. Occasionally, depending on what time of the day or night or where you live at, you may have like a little stick or something to fend off a dog or bear or whatever. But now, do I need to run with a gun? A gun? Really? Do I need to wear shirts that says, "Hey, I am a runner"? Uh, when are we going to realize that we all bleed the same blood? When are we going to realize that God is love, and that we should love one another, and we should treat each other with kindness and fairness, respect each other for their differences, and we keep it moving? But we shouldn't hate. We shouldn't presume anything about anybody, and to presume to the extent that you feel fearful enough to take somebody else's life makes no sense to me. And if this young man perhaps went out for a run, and who knows, let's just say he was a thief in the middle of the day. What gives you the right to pull a gun, to ambush him, to literally block the street and engage this young man? What gives you that right? You are, let's just say he had stole something. It's two of you with guns and a vehicle. Hell, you could have hit him with the truck. You could have shot him in the leg or what. I mean, if he was posing some type of a threat, you could have done several different things. Or hey, you know what? If you happen to get ahead of him because you see him running and you're driving, you ever thought about calling the police? I don't know. But I shouldn't fear for my kids to go and run. And all these things are going through my head, and I'm running through my own neighborhood, and a truck drives by, and I'm in a cul-de-sac. The truck drives by, and I freeze. I literally freeze to make sure that the driver is not shifting in his car to put a gun. Just for a brief second. Because this is going through my head. We got to do better, people. We have to, and my brothers and sisters in arms, we have sacrificed a lot. Whether we believe a lot of the things that we defend or not, we are willing to sacrifice our lives in the defense of this nation and this Constitution. But who is going to defend me because of my skin color? Who's going to defend me and for once presume I do not pose a threat because I am 6'2" and over 200 pounds? You know, I don't get it. I just want to run and keep myself healthy so I can see my kids do what great things they're going to do in their lives. I shouldn't have to worry that if I go for a jog that I'm going to get picked up on the side of the road by the ambulance. You know, gotta do better, man. I just don't know how to feel about this. I just don't. Lead with love, man. Positivity over everything. I love you, man. I'm just a black man that likes to run. Don't shoot.